The number one overall pick seemingly on the horizon. Questions about Darnold's future, of course, have gotten very loud. And Adam Gase yesterday took the blame for his development or lack thereof. Now take a look at these numbers. One argument in favor of Darnold has been how much the Jets offense fell apart whenever he would miss time. Well, this year, the Jets offense actually has been better with Joe Flacco than it has been with Darnold. And that had their coach Adam Gase saying this yesterday.
I came here to help him develop his career, and we haven't been able to do that. Every game's so important. Keep trying to help him grow, keep trying to help him develop and see things the way that he needs to see them, and we need to do things well, around him. But at the same time, it's on me to get him to play better than what he's played. So far, I haven't done a good enough job.
All right, so taking my emotions out of the conversation, Mark, let me just come to you. I see Bart shaking his head. Mark, let me come to you. You know Darnold well, obviously. He's an SC guy. You're an SC guy. He's the Jets quarterback. You're a former Jets quarterback. Do you believe with a fresh start he can recapture the magic that at one time had teams talking about tanking for him?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is he's shown flashes. He's shown enough, in my opinion, to give him a chance somewhere else. Indy, San Francisco, somewhere that's going to develop around him, draft around him, and put him in positions to be successful. The problem is he's trying to play right now because he's so dang competitive, and he's still a little banged up from that injury a few weeks back. So, in my opinion, I thought he shouldn't have played at all the rest of the year. He should have just sat it out, went on, and got to another place. And hadn't put any more bad film out there. He doesn't need to. He doesn't have to prove anything else. If anything, this is only hurting his value.
It's an interesting thought. Bart, you're around that team all the time, and you're shaking your head. Why?
I'm emotionally abused anyway by having to cover this team. But I tell you what, Mark is wrong. He has a lot to prove because he understands if he gets one victory, that potentially gets his option picked up because they won't be able to get Trevor Lawrence. So he has to come back and try to do whatever he can to try and get a victory. If he wins a game and Trevor Lawrence isn't an option, then Sam Darnold becomes your best option. Mark, if I take my camera right now, I can show you the Jets facility. I'm like 2 feet from it, man. I hear things rumbling. Bro, but listen. He's damaged. He's not broken.
Go ahead.
Listen, he's damaged, not broken.
But they're not picking up his option. They're not going to pay
maybe. Sanchez, go. Why are they not picking up his option?
They can't pick up his options. They're going to end up paying him like $27 million in a couple years. He hasn't proven he's worth that.
But if there's no Trevor Lawrence, then they have to. What's their other option? Go out and get Jameis Winston?
No, you let him play the fourth year, Bart. You let him play the fourth year, and then you move on.
Yeah, it's not one of the other.
That's what you want to do. Or you just move on because he can't play.
Yeah, I just let you guys do this.
Sam Darnold, I think he needs to play. I think he needs to play. I don't think he needs to sit out.
Let me try very hard to get one person talking at a time. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let me try and because all of you are saying interesting things and no one can understand any of them. Mark Sanchez, you're saying that you do not believe the Jets should or will pick up his option regardless of whether they get Trevor Lawrence or not.
Correct.
And why?
I just don't think he's shown that he's worth that there. I don't think it works in New York for Sam. I think it works somewhere else. And my only contention with him playing right now is if he's not healthy. Don't go out and try and prove yourself on a team and in a franchise that's going the wrong direction. They're ready to reboot. You just go somewhere else. All you need is one team to like you, and they'll build around you and help your career. They can resurrect his career.
Let me get RC into the conversation here. What have you seen, and what are your thoughts on him taking all the future out of it?
Listen, Mark is exactly right. You've seen flashes. Every now and then you get him rolling out of the pocket to his left, throwing back across his body and completing touchdown passes, or you get him scrambling out of the pocket and scoring in primetime football. You can see some of those things. The things that scares you is still the decision-making, the interceptions, the turnovers. Those are things we saw when he was coming out of USC. But here's what the positive has to be. First off, Adam Gase, Of course you fail him. Of course you didn't do the job that you were brought there to do, or the job you said you came over to do. But we've seen this with Ryan Tannehill. Look at somebody getting into a new facility, a new organization, a new type of team, a team that builds around you, a team that is set up to win, and then you can excel, then you can succeed. I believe that's what Sam Darnold needs to do. They not only need to let Sam Darnold because it's best for the Jets, it's also best for his career. Let's not fight this guy. It's over in New York.
Go ahead, Bart.
So for me, if he's able to win a game, then he becomes your best option if you can't get Trevor Lawrence. Understanding that Adam Gase won't be here. He'll be able to get a new coach, maybe the enemy. They have a lot of draft capital. They have a lot of salary cap. They're going to have money when nobody else is going to have money. They can bring a Zach Ertz in here. They can go get Juju or Galladay. They can go out and build a team around him, and that's what you have to do if you can't get Trevor Lawrence. They understand that it's more about Adam Gase and his inability to be a comparable coach than it is about Sam Darnold's ability to be a very good quarterback. He may be good. He's not great. He's not elite. I think it's still in his Dak Prescott. You can win with him. And if you can't get Trevor Lawrence, who's a generational talent, he's a force multiplier, then you double down on Sam Darnold, because we know if you give him weapons, I mean, hell, before this, who was the best weapon they ever had? Mims? Herman? Like, what are we talking about? This is a guy that we can't evaluate because he has anybody.
Mark, get a quick final thought. Go ahead, Sanchez.
Yeah, I agree with all that, Bart. All I'm saying is just because he wins a game doesn't mean you go pay him $26 million in his fifth year. They can just keep him through through next year without exercising the fifth-year option and see how it goes. Leave him in like a prove-it year kind of contract. That's fine.
Okay, we will leave it there.
Like
and
Dak,
I will just say this.
Pay extra money.
Perhaps appropriately, that conversation was even more disorganized than they could miss the playoffs. After nearly beating the unbeaten Steelers while well shorthanded, their next test comes Tuesday, hosting the Cowboys. Here's Coach John Harbaugh talking about the character of his team as it handles so much adversity.
I think we're very resilient, very persistent, mentally tough team, and only getting tougher because of the things that we're facing. So it remains to be seen whether we'll get the job done or not. It's really not what you talk about; it's what you do. So we've got to go do it, and we've got to start with the Cowboys.
Okay, so many questions. And Diana, the first and most important one is for you. What is the latest on the status of Lamar Jackson? Again, they play Tuesday.
Well, what's interesting is John Harbaugh is usually very transparent with us about who's going to be playing and who isn't. And he will not give an answer as to whether or not Lamar Jackson will start on Tuesday. But here's what's really interesting here, Greeny. So when a player tests positive for COVID-19, like Lamar Jackson did on Thanksgiving, they have to quarantine for 10 days. That's the protocol that the NFL has followed this whole season. After those 10 days, there's a 3-day ramp-up period that they have to go through testing with the trainers to make sure that they're healthy. Tuesday only gets Lamar Jackson to day 12. So this could be really dicey with what they decide to do here, which is probably why John Harbaugh is not saying anything, because right now they may not actually know. So this is going to be a situation where we're going to have to wait and see.
Okay, so that's fascinating. So then, Bart, let me come to you as my resident former Raven. We watched them. I thought that was one of the most impressive performances of the NFL season on Wednesday. A gutsy to make that as tough as it was against the Steelers. So as you look at them right now, where are they? What are the Ravens at this point this season?
I think that Harbaugh has these guys right where he wants them. He has their attention. He has them believing, and he's building the backups are getting tremendous experience as Brandon Williams is out. As you think about no Calais Campbell, no J.K. Dobbins, and they're saying, hey, if we go out here, you guys represent the history of what's on that decal. That decal out there means that no matter what, we expect you guys to go out there and play like a Raven. And you talk about last year, they really came in as the favorite, and I think they were underwhelmed because they were feeling themselves a little bit. They're one of the most criticized teams right now in the NFL. Lamar Jackson, nobody believes or knows if he's a franchise quarterback. You have a lot of guys that are going to go into the postseason with chips on their shoulders, and they're going to have it, and they're going to be able to make the playoffs. When you think about their record that they have going, they should be at least 10-6 at minimum. 11-5 should get them in there, and they're going to be a team that nobody wants to face.
Yeah, the remaining schedule is favorable. So, RC, let me go to you on that thought. Maybe this is a better role for them going in, not as the one seed and everyone talking about it, but maybe going in a little under the radar. It doesn't seem like a team that someone is going to be dying to see come into their building. You're shaking your head.
Greeny, because that's things losers say. You know, I don't want to go in as the hot team. I don't want to go in as the favorite. I want to go in as the team that's been losing, because if we're losing, then there's no pressure. No, that's what you say to make yourself feel better. That's what you say to make yourself feel like, you know what, this is a better position for us, or we've come through this adversity and now we can win games. It's about how the Baltimore Ravens play. Do you think that teams are going to fear the Baltimore Ravens more as the underdog than they did last year when they had the reigning MVP, when they were blowing people out late in that season? No, it's about playing the games. And for the Baltimore Ravens, it truly looks like it comes down to, can you stop the Cleveland Browns from running the football, and can you win that game? Because every other game, to me, I believe they'll be favored, and I believe that they'll win no matter who is playing quarterback, with the way that defense played against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But who are the Baltimore Ravens going forward with scare teams? Not the fact that they're the underdog.
You know, Diana, there are very few things that I look forward to more when we can finally do it than having Bart and RC in the room together. That is something, I think I speak for everyone when I say that we can get, just looking at Bart's face right now. When I can have the two of you guys sitting in here in this room, that is really going to be magic. Anyway, we'll do more on this as we go, but I want to do some either-ors here. Let's look around the league at some of the other